You're 30, maybe 35, maybe 40. You have a job, you pay bills, you handle responsibilities. But inside, somewhere deep inside, there's a part of you that still feels 8 years old, waiting for someone to tell you what to do, waiting for permission to be an adult, waiting for the moment when you finally feel like you're supposed to, and it never comes. This is about the psychology of adults who still feel like children inside, and why that feeling won't go away. There's a strange paradox that happens to some people. They grow up, but they don't grow into themselves. On the outside, they're functional adults. They work, they parent, they make decisions. But internally, there's this persistent feeling of being a child wearing an adult costume. Like everyone else got the memo on how to be a grown-up, and you missed it. You look at other adults and they seem so sure of themselves, so confident in their decisions, so comfortable in their authority. And you wonder, when does that happen? When do I get to feel like a real adult? But here's the thing, that question itself is the answer, because real adults don't wait to feel like adults. They don't wait for permission or validation or some magical moment when they finally feel ready. They just exist. But you're still waiting for someone to tell you you're doing it right, waiting for someone to take care of you the way you needed to be taken care of when you were young, waiting for your life to start feeling real. And the longer you wait, the younger you feel inside. If this is hitting too close to home, subscribe now. Because what comes next explains exactly why this happens and what it means about your past. Inside every adult who feels like a child, there's a specific age where something stopped. Not literally, you kept growing older, but emotionally, psychologically, a part of you froze. Maybe you were 7, maybe 10, maybe 13. Something happened, or didn't happen, and a piece of your development paused. And that piece never caught up. Psychologists call this arrested development. It's not about being immature or irresponsible. It's about having a part of yourself that's still stuck at the age when you needed something you didn't get. Maybe it was safety. Maybe it was guidance. Maybe it was someone to see you and say, "You're going to be okay." Whatever it was, you didn't get it. And the part of you that needed it, that part is still there. Still waiting, still hoping that if you just figure out how to be good enough, small enough, quiet enough, someone will finally take care of you the way you needed to be taken care of back then. This is why you feel like a child in adult situations, why making big decisions feels terrifying, why you constantly look to others for approval, guidance, permission. Because inside, there's still a kid who never learned how to trust their own judgment, who never learned that they could survive on their own, who never learned that growing up doesn't mean you have to have all the answers. So what creates this freeze? What stops a child from growing into their own authority? This is where it gets uncomfortable. The frozen part doesn't come from trauma alone. It comes from something more subtle, something most people don't even recognize as harmful. It comes from emotional abandonment. Not physical abandonment. Your parents might have been there every day. But emotionally, developmentally, when you needed someone to help you understand yourself, no one showed up. Maybe your emotions were too big and no one taught you how to hold them. Maybe you were scared and no one told you fear was normal. Maybe you made mistakes and instead of guidance, you got shame. So you learned something dangerous, that you couldn't trust yourself, that your feelings were wrong, that your instincts were broken. And when a child learns they can't trust themselves, they stop developing an internal compass. They stop building the psychological infrastructure that says, "I can handle this, I can figure this out, I am capable." Instead, they outsource that trust to parents, to teachers, to friends, to partners, to anyone who seems more grown up than they feel. And here's what happens. You reach adulthood with all the external markers, job, home, responsibilities, but without the internal sense of "I am an adult who can trust my own decisions." So you keep looking outside yourself, waiting for someone to tell you you're doing it right, waiting for permission to make choices, waiting for reassurance that you're allowed to take up space in your own life. And the worst part? Most of the time that reassurance never comes, because the world assumes you already have it. And that's where the loneliness lives, because you can't tell people you feel like a child. You can't admit you're terrified of being an adult. So you pretend. You perform competence, but inside, you're still waiting to be rescued. Let me show you what that looks like. When you feel like a child inside, it shows up in specific ways you might not even recognize as connected. You struggle with authority over your own life. You can follow rules, you can do what you're told, but making your own rules, defining your own boundaries, that feels impossible because children don't get to do that, and inside, you're still a child. You seek permission constantly. Is this okay? Am I doing this right? What should I do? Not because you don't have opinions, but because you don't trust them. You need someone else to validate your choices before you can believe they're valid. You feel like an imposter in adult spaces. Buying a house, getting married, having kids, leading a team. These things feel like you're playing pretend. Like someone's going to figure out you don't actually know what you're doing and take it all away. You default to others in decision-making. What do you think? What would you do? Not collaborative, dependent. You genuinely don't trust yourself to know what's best for you. You wait to be taken care of. Not consciously, but somewhere deep down, you're hoping someone will notice you're struggling and step in. Fix it, make it better, tell you what to do. The way a parent should have when you were actually a child. And when no one does, because you're an adult now, and that's not how it works, you feel abandoned all over again. So here's the question that's probably eating at you. Can this change? Or am I stuck like this forever? That's what we need to talk about next. Here's the truth no one wants to hear. The thing you've been waiting for, someone to finally see you, guide you, take care of you the way you needed. It's not coming. Not because you don't deserve it, but because the person who needed that was a child. And that child is gone. What's left is an adult carrying a child's unmet needs. And the only person who can meet those needs now is you. This is what psychologists call self-reparenting. It's the process of becoming the adult you needed when you were young, not metaphorically. Literally, you have to learn to give yourself the things that were missing. Permission. You don't need anyone's approval to make choices about your own life. You're allowed to want what you want, to choose what you choose, even if it's wrong, even if you fail. Guidance. When you don't know what to do, you don't have to panic and look for someone to rescue you. You can sit with the uncertainty. Ask yourself, what feels right? What do I need right now? And trust that you'll figure it out. Reassurance. When you're scared, and you will be scared, you have to tell yourself what no one told you then. You're going to be okay. You can handle this. You've handled harder things before. Boundaries. You get to say no. You get to protect your time, your energy, your space. You don't have to be small and accommodating and grateful just for being allowed to exist. And here's the hardest part. You have to let the child part of you grow up. Not by forcing it, not by shaming it, but by giving it what it needed so it can finally relax, so it can stop waiting, so it can trust that you, the adult version, are capable of taking care of things now. But here's where people get stuck. They think reparenting means being perfect, being the flawless parent they never had. And when they can't do that, because no one can, they give up. So let me tell you what it actually means. Reparenting isn't about becoming some idealized version of an adult. It's not about having all the answers or never being afraid. It's about learning to do something you were never taught. How to be uncertain and still move forward. How to make mistakes and not collapse. How to need help without believing you're broken. Here's what that looks like in practice. When a decision feels overwhelming, instead of asking everyone else what to do, you pause. You ask yourself, what would I tell someone I love if they were in this situation? And then, this is the hard part, you listen to your own answer. When you're scared, instead of looking for someone to make it go away, you acknowledge it. I'm scared, that's okay. Scared people can still do hard things. And you do it anyway. When you mess up, because you will, you don't spiral into shame. You don't wait for someone to tell you you're forgiven. You say, I made a mistake, I'm learning. I'll do better next time. And you mean it. This is what emotional adulthood looks like. Not confidence, not certainty, and self-trust in the absence of both. The ability to say, I don't know what I'm doing, but I trust that I'll figure it out. That's what the child part of you has been waiting for. Not someone else to take over, but for you to prove that you can handle your own life. Even when it's hard, even when you're unsure, even when you fail. And here's what happens when you start doing this. The child part of you starts to relax. Not immediately, not all at once. But gradually it stops waiting. It stops needing someone else to show up. Because you showed up, and that changes everything. There's a moment, it's different for everyone, when something shifts. You're in the middle of a decision, a problem, a moment of uncertainty. And instead of panic, instead of that desperate need for someone to tell you what to do, you feel steady, not because you have all the answers, but because you trust that you'll find them. And in that moment, the child part of you, the part that's been frozen, waiting, hoping, finally exhales. Because it doesn't have to wait anymore. You're here, you're capable. You're the adult it needed you to become. This doesn't mean you never feel young again. It doesn't mean you're suddenly confident and certain all the time, but it means you stop living your life like you're waiting for it to start. You stop looking for permission to exist. You stop needing someone else to validate your choices before you can trust them. You become the authority in your own life. Not perfectly, not without doubt, but enough. Enough to stop waiting. Enough to start living. Here's what I need you to understand. Feeling like a child inside doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're immature or incapable or less than other adults. It means that somewhere along the way, a part of you stopped developing, not because you were weak, but because you didn't have what you needed to keep growing. And that's not your fault. But it is your responsibility now, because no one else can do this for you. No partner, no therapist, no friend, no matter how much they love you, can give you what you needed as a child. That time is gone. But what you can do is give yourself what you need now. You can become the adult who says, I see you, I've got you. You're safe now. Not to the world, to yourself, to the part of you that's been waiting. And when you do that, when you stop waiting and start showing up for yourself, something beautiful happens. You don't just feel like an adult, you become one. Not the kind who has it all figured out, but the kind who can handle not having it figured out. And that's the only kind of adult that actually exists. If you're 30, 40, 50, and you still feel like a child inside, this is your permission to stop waiting. Stop waiting for someone to take care of you. Stop waiting for permission to make your own choices. Stop waiting to feel ready, because you're never going to feel ready. But you're going to be okay anyway. And the child part of you? It's been waiting for you to figure that out, so it can finally rest. If this hit you in a way you weren't expecting, leave a comment. Tell me how old the child inside you feels. Not to explain, not to justify, just to acknowledge, I see you, you're still here. And if you know someone carrying a child's pain in an adult body, send this to them. Sometimes the most healing thing is knowing you're not the only one. Subscribe for more psychology that sees the parts of you no one else does.